Hey everybody, welcome to The Bottom Line. I'm Michael. The reason I'm laughing is I've tried this intro about 1,000 times and I'm tongue twisted today for whatever reason. But anyway, this is going to be a Patreon only release. Just a chance to kind of share a little VCLT today. I'm also going to make this one a freebie. I'll go ahead and include all of my Patreon council members and elders, tribal elders, as far as giving you a shout out, just like I always do. And sometimes I release these and it's only for the inner council, right? This one, I'd like to kind of get out there with some. I've got about 12 of you that follow and watch the free portions of this. And I thought I'd just kind of get a wider audience is what I'm doing here. The reason I'm doing that is I talk about VLT or VCLT, whatever it's called. It's been decades since I've been in the vinyl community. And it was 1993 when I sold my record collection. I think it was probably up to, I say 1,200, but it was probably, to be really realistically, just under 1,000. But later I got into CDs and I did have well over 1,200 CDs. I replaced everything. I thought that was the way to go. And thanks to a very dear friend and perhaps my worst nightmare, Royce, I'm getting back into vinyl. I've bought a few for myself. Royce has sent me over some, and he did again. I thought I'd share with you guys, all right? First of all, this is about as far as I ever went with the Beach Boys anyway. I had Pet Sounds at one point, mainly because of being a Beatle fan, and Paul McCartney always talking about Pet Sounds and, reading all kinds of articles on it. I finally grew up and became a full-time Beach Boy fan. I always was a Beach Boy fan, but I'm a more casual Beach Boy fan and a major Brian Wilson fan. I've watched almost every interview I can find on Brian. He is a genius on so many levels. But you know what? I would highly suggest this album for people who are just getting into him. I mean, it's like a C sampler, folks. Another C sampler here. Chicago's Greatest Hits here. I love this. I absolutely love this album. And it's got a good cross-section. Not enough Terry Kath on it for me, but it does have his big hit on there, and that's wonderful. Now, these last three albums are really great. I'm going to start off with, of course, Metallica's Black Album. This is Metallica's best album. Come on. I know the heavy-duty Metallica fans. Oh, no, that's when they went pop, man, and all of that. Well, if that's true, then I guess I like pop heavy metal. Because if it's not in the song, it's usually not in a groove for me. Unless you're an instrumental group with long instrumental passages, I could get into that. But, there's got to be something that kind of sticks to the ear for me. And this album is really Metallica doing exactly that. By the way, I'm also a fan of their latest album, 72 Seasons. Not quite as pop-ish, but the song strength is there. They kind of go into progressive changes on that album. I'm still at that point where I'm really trying to find the time to really listen to a lot of these albums that I've covered on the channel. I listen to them strongly, and then I do my video, and then somebody else puts out another album, and I'm off listening to that. So it's not like when I was 17, didn't have a job and could spend 12 hours a day listening to music anymore. So, and with so many great releases last year, my God, but I'm still catching up on them. The one that I do listen to quite a bit, by the way, is, I'll hold that on it for a second, okay? All right, so there's a reason for that. It just came to me as I was saying all of that, but this album here, I love this album. Oh my God, I love this band. I just put out a short about this band. You know, it was a friend's older sister that turned me on to this band. I was probably 14 at the time and I was starting to kind of listen to rock and roll a bit, but I was still kind of interested in comic books, you know, and puppy love girls. And it would be in the next year, I noticed all the girls I would like to fall in love with at junior high were falling in love with this guy who played guitar across the street on his porch. A guy named Coburnett, the guy who taught me my very first 6 chords. I knew the lay of the land, and that's exactly why I learned to play guitar, you know. But I gotta tell you, the Moody Blues, she would turn me on to the Moody Blues, and I loved the fact that they had, now she was probably 17, 18 at the time. She had a full-time job. Her name was Nan. And her and her best friend, Linda, who was the daughter of the principal of my junior high school, who I was always in trouble with. Due to hair length, I kept getting sent home because I wouldn't cut my hair. But anyway, they were major Moody Blues fans. And so they showed me their albums, and I loved the fact that their albums were so weird. It was kind of like my first real trippy look into albums and perusing kind of psychedelic oriented art, and these their bell bottoms and their flowery, you know, you'd open up the jacket and they'd have the 5 blues right there. You know, I thought they looked so good, and they also sounded like they had just a touch of Perry Como or Frank Sinatra in them, in that their songs had to make that kind of sense and flavor, yet it was something else, totally different. It was a magic carpet ride, folks. I know I've used that term before. Now, here's the favorite one, though, Royce, that you sent me. This is one of my favorite albums of all time, and of course, this is the magnificent Close to the Edge. All right? Yes's best album, and I say that firmly, and yet I tell you they made many albums that were on this level. A good example of that would be Tales of the Topographic Ocean, right? They also, The Ladder I like. I liked Magnification. And of course, you know, you've got the Yes album, right? And Fragile. And those were all wonderful albums. 90125. I love Big Generator. Okay, go figure, right? But there was always a level to most of their albums. They had a couple of clunkers, not too many. And a clunker by Yes is better than most of the crap that's out now. So anyway, this is just a kind of check-in. I want to tell you guys, first of all, you who have supported me like this, I really do appreciate you guys. You need to know that. I run this channel all by my lonesome, folks. I mean, this is a one-man operation. I do my own writing. I do my own research. I do my own sit down in the chair and perform. I edit and color correct and sound correct, and have finally learned to bring my soundtrack down to a decent level. And I thank you for you folks who have been with me from the beginning when I used to have those horrible, loud soundtracks. But you know, I was learning, and I've learned so much in the last 2 years and 4 months. That's how long I've been on. And you know what? We just reached 33,900 subscribers just this morning. This week has been a phenomenal week. In the last week, I went from 33.1 to 33.3, sorry folks, 33.3 to 33.9 in less than 7 days. A big thanks to all of you. You guys have made that possible. And by the way, you know, this microphone here, this was paid by James W. Delk. You may see his name float up as one of the tribal counselors. He gave me a couple of really nice super thanks, and I invested it right back into the studio. See this chair? This is the third video I've filmed in this chair. I took what the channel makes and invest it right back into here. As some of you know, I just invested into a computer, not an ultra expensive one, nice one, and as well as an advanced editing program that I'm still learning. I'm still editing on my iPad. This is a 2020 iPad Pro, folks, and it's a monster machine for its time, but it doesn't even have the M1, M2 chips. And so as this channel grows, as I get better at this, as I start producing more and different aspects of this channel, I want you to know that your financial support always goes back into this studio so that I can supply you with more quality as far as what I have to offer you. All right, so just a quick share, a bit of a tag in here. I'm not gonna do too much editing with this. I've made so many mistakes for this, but I've never really just did a sit down, talk at you kind of folks on my Patreon. And you know what, guys? You are the creme de la creme as far as I'm concerned, because you've gone the extra distance, and I love each and every one of you. And I guess I'll try and make more of these videos if you tell me so in the comments. I can check in from time to time, and we'll just add that as a Patreon feature. Let me know what you think. It doesn't have to be sharing albums. It could be about just about anything. And I would probably shoot those as I've done here. I just shot my video for this weekend, and it's all based on the Yellow Submarine album. And by the time you see this one, even though I shot this video second, I will edit that first to get it out for and in a timely manner. But this video was shot right after that one. I'm even in the same garb. I shut the camera down and re-engaged it. All right, folks, that about does it. I'm Michael Noland. This is the Patreon version of The Bottom Line, and I love y'all. See you next time.